Hello everyone, it's Kevin, and I'm still kind of taken aback by this one. In the 80s and 90s, Michael Jackson was everything, and everyone loved him. But a Michael Jackson action game? That alone sounds like a gimmick. And to be fair, parts of this game are a little ridiculous. You fight enemies with dance moves, you rescue kids that were kidnapped, and eventually you turn into a giant robot. A Mecha Jackson, perhaps. But after finally playing Moonwalker for the first time in my life, I actually liked it. No, it's not a perfect game, and yeah, it gets tougher than you'd expect later on. I also feel that it can get a little repetitive at times, but there's something about this game that just works. And no, it's not just the music.
He comes from a place beyond the stars.
Moonwalker was released on the Sega Genesis in 1990, and it was based loosely on the Moonwalker film. I've never seen the movie, to be honest with you, but I have a feeling that loosely is doing a lot of the work here. There was an arcade version as well that was supposed to be different than this game, but by the time I was old enough to go to the arcades, it wasn't there for me. The Genesis version is an action platformer, where your goal is to explore levels and rescue kidnapped children. It's an interesting concept as it's something different, but it still sounds weird to me. Once you actually start playing it though, you'll find that it clicks pretty quickly and it has a lot of charm. The controls are simple but solid. You've got kicks, jump kicks, magic attacks, and one of the most unique attacks that I've ever seen in gaming, the dance attack. What's the dance attack, you ask? It forces every enemy on screen to start dancing, before they get wiped out from trying to keep up with MJ's pace. It's ridiculous, and it takes your health away, but it's also really effective and it's super entertaining. Honestly, it never really gets old the first few times you use it, especially because each stage has its own unique dance attack. There is some weird jank with staircases like many games back then, but otherwise the movement feels smooth and the controls respond well. For a licensed movie-based game from this era, that's already a win. Where the game starts to lose a bit of momentum is once you get to maybe halfway through the game. You start to find that it's kind of a bit repetitive, as I mentioned before. Each level follows the same formula: explore, find all the children, and then move on. It works, but after a while you kinda know exactly what the game is gonna ask from you. It doesn't really evolve much beyond that. It doesn't help that the levels get kind of tough. The early levels are pretty manageable, but once you hit the graveyard, the difficulty definitely cranks it up. Enemies get more aggressive with weird attack patterns, level layouts feel a bit tighter, and not in a good way, and finding the last few hidden children on each level can get pretty frustrating. It's not unfair, but it does catch you off guard if you're expecting a casual playthrough. The graphics are pretty good for the time, and the animations are amazing. It makes me wonder if Michael had a part in the approval process for it. I also love the intro to this game. So awesome. Because this is a game starring Michael Jackson, the music is one of the highlights. You've got versions of hits like Smooth Criminal, Beat It, Billie Jean, and more. And they actually sound pretty good on the Genesis. But there's one thing missing: Thriller. Which really feels like a missed opportunity, especially since the graveyard level is basically begging for it. The dance attack on that level does have the Thriller dance, but maybe they couldn't afford the rights to Thriller? It's hard to imagine though, since they have all the rights to the other hits on this. Also, I have to mention this. This video wouldn't be complete if I didn't talk about the robot transformation. I know it's from the movie, but it feels so random. It could happen naturally throughout the game if you catch a falling star, but it's also forced on you in the endgame. Because nothing says Michael Jackson like turning into a giant laser robot or a flying car, or a space fighter. It's completely out of nowhere, but it's also one of the most memorable parts of the game. And it's a good fit for the Genesis as it feels like peak Sega energy from the 90s. Before I continue, if you enjoy this kind of content, please make sure you subscribe for more weekly. In my opinion, Moonwalker gets a pass. It's a good game. It's also a weird game, but it's a good kind of weird. It's simple, it's unique, and it actually plays well. Yeah, like I said, it gets repetitive. The difficulty spikes later on, but it's still a fun experience overall. And honestly, it's better than it has any right to be. Now that I've played it, I believe that Moonwalker was actually really good for the casual gamer when it came out. It was creative, easy to pick up, with great music and an iconic main character. If you're into retro games, or you're a Michael Jackson fan, or you just want to see one of the strangest licensed games ever made, this is definitely worth trying. In the end, it might not be perfect, but it definitely isn't bad. And that's a wrap. It is time to reboot. I will see you on the other side.